What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and Ilia Topuria has officially announced that he is moving on from the featherweight division. He's going to vacate his belt in order to fight on 155 because apparently Ilia Topuria, when he's out of camp, he walks around at 190 pounds, which means that by the time he has to fight, he has to cut about like 45 pounds, which is crazy to think about. Ilia Topuria, he didn't look like he was really a big featherweight. Like, it seemed like he was a perfect size featherweight, but it seems like some featherweights like him, Max Holloway, and Brian Ortega are struggling to make weight, and they're all moving to the lightweight division. And to be honest, I like this move for Ilia. In 145, there were some interesting matches, but it did feel like there wasn't really too many like real threats to Ilia. I mean, there was Diego Lopez, who I thought could potentially beat Ilia, but I wasn't too confident in that. And then with Volk, we have already seen Volk get put out cold by Ilia. Malzar, he's good on the wrestling, but like in the striking, I don't think he can deal with Ilia, and I think that Ilia will be able to negate his grappling and knock him out. So in the featherweight division, there wasn't really anyone too exciting for him, but in the lightweight division, there's a lot of exciting fights. I mean, could you imagine Ilia Topuria fighting Rafael Fiziev? I mean, a boxer like Ilia taking on a Muay Thai specialist in Fiziev, that would be insane. I mean, Ilia versus Dustin Poirier, Ilia versus Charles Oliveira, and which is the fight that he's targeting. These are all incredible fights, and I actually don't mind seeing that fight, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Charles Oliveira, since Islam Makhachev is fighting in January, Oliveira is going to wait. Islam is most likely, if he beats Arman, he's probably going to fight like around May or June. So it wouldn't really make too much sense for Ilia to fight Oliveira in May when Islam or Arman are most likely going to be ready to fight again by that time. But I think that Ilia Topuria should take on Dustin Poirier. I think that Dustin Poirier he's number 3 in the lightweight division. He just fought for the belt, and I think that's an incredible matchup. I would favor Ilia to win, but Dustin, I mean, we've seen him knock out guys like Justin Gaethje, knock out guys like Conor McGregor, these really dangerous and powerful strikers. And I think that with Ilia, he definitely has a chop, but we've seen Ilia put out guys like Jay Herbert to sleep, a real lightweight. Like, he's been knocking out featherweights, but his power seems to translate to the 155-pound division. And Ilia also has incredible grappling, which would help him out a lot in his fight versus Dustin Poirier. And Dustin, this could be his retirement fight, so have it be a war, like introduce Ilia to the lightweight division. And I think that this fight could actually be on the undercard of Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2, which is probably going to happen in May or June. So that way you can set up the winner of both fights for Abu Dhabi in October. So let's say Islam beats Oliveira and Ilia beats Dustin. I mean, then you got yourself a super fight in Abu Dhabi to close off the year. But I think that Ilia is going to do very well in the lightweight division. He's not only one of the best strikers in that weight class, but he's also got the grappling. A lot of these guys like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway even, they're all fantastic strikers, but they don't have that grappling that would cause them the fights against guys like Arman Tsarukyan, Islam Makhachev, and Charles Oliveira. But I think that Ilia Topuria can actually compete with them on the ground, and he's talked about how he wants to be the first one to submit Islam, which is very ambitious for him. But yeah, I think that he'll do well. I think that he'll beat Dustin Poirier. I actually think that he can beat Charles Oliveira too. I mean, Charles Oliveira gets hurt in nearly all his fights. He didn't get hurt against Beneil Dariush. He didn't get hurt against Arman Tsarukyan. But Ilia could even potentially try to take him down and get some control time. But I think that he would knock him out on the feet. I think that Ilia can beat Arman Tsarukyan as well. I think he's got good grappling defense. And, I don't think he'll be able to take down Arman Tsarukyan, but on the feet is where he should keep it. Obviously, Arman is dangerous. He's got very, very fast kicks that could catch Ilia off guard. He's got solid Muay Thai, but I think that Ilia is just a better striker, better understanding of the striking. But then we move on to Islam Makhachev, and that's the real challenge for Ilia. And Islam loves to beat his opponents at their own game. He's done that against Volk by knocking him out on the feet. He submitted Oliveira, and he outboxed Dustin Poirier. And Ilia is talking about wanting to grapple with Islam, and Islam hasn't said anything yet, but if we can, base it off the past, I feel like Islam Makhachev is going to try to knock out Ilia Topuria, but I would still favor Islam to beat him. And I think that Ilia, in the back of his mind, he actually wants to become the first 3-division champion. He gets a lightweight belt. Maybe Bilal's still the champion. He goes up and fights Bilal for the welterweight title to potentially become the first 3-division champion in the UFC.